Welcome back to Voice of Africa, your trusted window into the heartbeat of the continent. We're thrilled you're here, and today we've got one of the most electrifying updates to share. Something that could change the course of a nation and perhaps even the global economic landscape. So grab your seat and tune in, because what's happening in Uganda right now could become one of the most powerful stories of African transformation in our time. Before we begin, let's make something clear. This is a space for awareness, unity, and thoughtful discussion. We are here to educate, celebrate, and reflect, never to incite. All perspectives are welcome, and we encourage peaceful and constructive dialogue as we explore this major development together. In what is now being described as one of the most monumental mineral discoveries in modern history, Uganda has unearthed a treasure trove hidden deep within its soil, over 31 million metric tons of gold ore. And from this, experts estimate that more than 320,000 tons of refined gold could be extracted, an amount valued at a jaw-dropping $12 trillion. Yes, you heard that right, $12 trillion. Let that number sink in. To put that into perspective, that's nearly half the size of the entire U.S. economy, several times the GDP of all African nations combined, and more than the entire value of gold reserves held by central banks worldwide. It's a discovery that has stunned economists, excited investors, and ignited a firestorm of debate across Africa and beyond. But what does this mean for Uganda? And more importantly, what does it mean for Africa? To start, this find has the potential to utterly transform Uganda's economy. A country whose GDP currently stands at around 50 billion could, with the right systems in place, be thrust into an entirely new economic stratosphere. Roads, hospitals, schools, and technology infrastructure could be built. Job opportunities across the mining, engineering, finance, and logistics sectors could explode. Rural communities near the mining sites could finally see the benefits of industrial growth trickling down to them. The knock-on effects for the East African region could be equally profound, creating new trade dynamics, boosting regional currency strength, and inviting long-term investment flows. However, there is another side to this golden coin. History offers plenty of cautionary tales when it comes to resource wealth, particularly in Africa. We've seen it in Nigeria with oil. We've seen it in the Democratic Republic of Congo with cobalt and coltan. When not managed properly, these riches can lead to corruption, environmental degradation, displacement of communities, and even conflict. This phenomenon, known as the resource curse, is a trap Uganda must avoid at all costs. For this golden opportunity to truly benefit the people of Uganda, and not just a few elites or foreign stakeholders, a multi-layered strategy needs to be deployed, starting with transparent governance. Every ounce of gold extracted should be accounted for. The licensing process for mining companies must be open to public scrutiny. Contracts with foreign firms should be published and debated. And most importantly, local communities must be treated as partners in this enterprise, not passive observers. In this critical moment, we'd like to pause and give a heartfelt thank you to our incredible members and subscribers. Your support makes Voice of Africa what it is, a platform driven by truth, empowerment, and unapologetic storytelling. If you value what we do, please consider showing your support through the Super Thanks button. Every contribution helps us keep the light shining on stories that matter, like this one. Thank you for being part of the movement. Now back to Uganda. The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, which announced the discovery, has emphasized its commitment to responsible and sustainable mining practices. Chinese company Wagagai Mining, which has secured a license to operate in one of the key areas, Busia in eastern Uganda, has already invested over $200 million in developing infrastructure, including a modern refinery. The government asserts that it intends to build local capacity and ensure Ugandans are deeply involved in every phase of the mining process. This sounds promising on paper, but civil society groups are calling for more than words. They're demanding action and oversight. They want to see how revenues will be shared between the government, local communities, and private investors. They want guarantees that environmental standards will be enforced. They want to make sure this isn't just another case of Africa's wealth enriching someone else's balance sheet. Let's consider what success could look like. Imagine a Uganda where this gold windfall is used to fund universal health care and improve education, where profits from mining are reinvested into green energy, tech startups, and agricultural modernization, where Ugandan youth are trained to manage state-of-the-art mining equipment, lead geological research, and build export strategies. Imagine a day when Uganda becomes not just a major gold exporter, but a manufacturer of finished gold products, adding value right at home. But now imagine the opposite scenario. Picture forests destroyed, rivers poisoned, and thousands of families displaced by poorly regulated mining operations. Imagine a country overwhelmed by debt after entering predatory contracts. Imagine the disillusionment of millions of citizens watching gold leave their land while their lives remain untouched. The stakes couldn't be higher. This is why it is absolutely critical that the Ugandan people are engaged in this process. It's not just about who digs the gold, it's about who decides how it is used. Will the government establish a sovereign wealth fund to protect the proceeds of this windfall for future generations? Will they invest in long-term infrastructure projects instead of short-term political gains? Will the media and civil society have the freedom to monitor and report on the developments transparently? International watchdogs and African think tanks are already watching closely. The African Union could play a role in supporting Uganda with best practices, policy frameworks, and peer oversight, and other African countries sitting on similar resources should be paying attention. This isn't just about gold, it's about rewriting the resource playbook for the continent. And what of the global implications? If Uganda enters the global gold market with such a huge supply, it could shift the dynamics of pricing and geopolitical interests. Nations with existing gold reserves might become nervous. Multinational corporations will compete aggressively for contracts. Foreign governments may try to curry favor with Kampala for a slice of the action. That level of attention brings opportunity, but also pressure and potential interference. Uganda will need to navigate this terrain wisely. Strategic partnerships should be built not on desperation or dependency, but on mutual benefit and fairness. The country can afford to negotiate from a position of strength, but only if it knows its own value. Let us also not forget the environmental dimension. Gold mining, if done irresponsibly, can devastate ecosystems. Mercury and cyanide, commonly used in gold processing, can contaminate water sources. Forests can be cleared, and wildlife habitats lost. Uganda, a country rich in biodiversity, cannot afford such ecological destruction. Every step taken must be rooted in sustainable development principles. There's also the question of what lessons Uganda can learn from its neighbors. Ghana, for instance, has faced serious issues with illegal mining, locally known as galamsey, which has wreaked havoc on communities and environments. Meanwhile, Botswana's diamond industry offers a more positive model, one where strong governance, local beneficiation, and reinvestment in social services have largely delivered national progress. Which path will Uganda choose? Uganda's gold discovery is not just about economics. It's a test of leadership, integrity, and vision. If the nation rises to the occasion, it can craft a legacy that goes far beyond mineral wealth. It can become an example of how African countries can take control of their destiny, harness their resources, and uplift their people without selling their souls or their soil. At Voice of Africa, we believe in that possibility. We believe in Uganda. We believe in Africa's right to prosper on its own terms, with its eyes wide open and its people in the driver's seat. This story is still unfolding, and we'll be right here with you to follow every twist and turn. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with your friends, family, and anyone who cares about Africa's future. And don't forget, your super thanks go a long way in keeping this channel alive and thriving. Thank you again for being part of our growing community. From the glittering hills of Busia to the corridors of power in Kampala, a new chapter is being written. Let it be one of dignity, prosperity, and justice. This is Voice of Africa, signing off, for now. Stay informed, stay inspired, and stay proud. Africa is rising.